right now. So yeah. Okay, cool. Well, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out today.
Yes, sure, sure.
So I want to begin our
Go ahead.
conversation before we get into your work by asking you, you know, how did you get through the pandemic? 4 years ago, this pandemic was going. It really affected all of us in a very specific
Yeah.
way. How did you make it through it and how did it change you?
Well, there's so many layers, isn't it? So first of all, it's work. Yes, because I'm workaholic. In terms of the pandemic, I don't want to sound horrible, but actually, it really boosted my business because most of the businesses they went into as a workflow automation consultant. I work mainly with remote companies that have global, worldwide employees, and they uh, looked into how to make sure that everyone still stays on the job and do their tasks as they expected. And as a workflow automation consultant, that's where I thrive. So in terms of business, business just, boomed because
Yeah.
everyone was trying to find a way to make sure that their employees were doing their job. In terms of isolation as a human being, yes, it affected me like everyone else. It was scary, it was crazy. There are a lot of discussion with family, with friends. So that's for sure, it affected like everyone else. Like we've seen deaths, we have seen fear, we have seen depression, and we still see the signs of it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people still are suffering. But in terms of my career and my mission in my life, I am focusing mainly in workflow automation, and it all sounds very geeky. But what it brings a hope for people to stay connected in workplace.
Yeah.
Because what we're seeing now in the last 5 to 10 years, there's so much disengagement. People are just not happy in their workplaces.
Yeah.
They want to be seen, they want to be understood, they want to have role. If we don't have role, that's it. We are broken. We don't feel that we are bringing anything to this world. We are not happy inside. And because each business is innovating, transforming. We see so many business models, and executives, they feel that employees should just adapt and jump in and do the things that they expect in their big vision. But that's not how our brains are wired. I'm a huge fan of evolutionary psychology, and evolutionary psychology keeps telling us, you can read 30,000, papers written for about 50 years, that our brain is hardwired to seek predictability and clarity.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of neuroscientist leadership institute. And their research tells us is if you don't give your employee predictability and definition of tasks, they lose their cognitive function by 30%. So can you imagine that? You're hiring someone, with a great degree, someone young, someone just, hungry to prove themselves. And then you just say, yeah, just look around and see what you can do. And that's what we do. So maybe you can do sales, maybe you can do some admin. And that's it. You are making that person stupid by 30%. Like
Yeah.
literally, you're just saying that like in that one day of onboarding, as we call, of employee, you are losing 30% of what you are hiring. And that
Yeah.
is crazy. That
Yeah.
is making people unhappy. That is making just them aware of disengagement between their vision, what they want to become in this world, and that company, like their approach, the trust and clarity. So that's where the workflows come in. Um, I got into workflows just after I graduated in 2010 from the LSE in London. I graduated with a degree in conflict studies. So this is a very interesting area. I wanted to save the world. I wanted to end
Yeah.
on conflicts. I
Yeah.
wanted to work in NGOs. And I landed internship in this NGO. But I got suddenly, immersed into literally really bad conflict workflows. So 3 weeks in, I'm doing this internship, working day and night, proving myself, and I noticed this discrepancy. 250,000 pounds I'm missing. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, I should take this to my manager. So, of course, being a good girl, expecting, that, come on, this is NGO, we're saving the world, nothing bad should be happening there. I take straight to my manager, yes. That was, the naive girl, just graduated after university. And she's just listening to me calmly. She's, drinking coffee in office kitchen. And then she goes into full Hulk mode. She starts strangling me and saying, if you disclose that, I will destroy you. Like, you are nobody now. You're a girl from Eastern Europe, just graduated from the LSE. Great, you have a degree. Nobody will hire you. Like, I will destroy you.
Wow.
So obviously that was her that was doing that. So what I did is I went back home, of course, crying in shock, like, what is happening? What is truly happening here? And I mapped out the full process, what basically enabled her to do that.
Yeah.
I I mapped out 70 steps, how money was flowing into the NGO, how it was used, and et cetera, et cetera. So I found those bottlenecks.
Yeah.
And I still remember it was huge map on my wall, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, this is a workflow, what we are supposed to do, and there's so many bad things happening. Like, why nobody is overlooked? Like, why nobody actually made it better? So from that moment in my life, I am looking as to workflows as a currency of relationships. Basically, workflows, let's say, as currency enables transactions, monetary transactions, workflows enables trust, clarity, and momentum. So these things we need to be able to be accountable, to do our job, and to also to be happy at the job. So we are accomplishing three main things. People can trust us. We know our role in that company, in that ecosystem, but at the same time, we know our role in a society at a big level. And that's where we can thrive. If we feel that we have a position, we can then produce more creative ideas. We can start innovating. We can feel happy both at work and at home. And I feel that it's just a very overlooked area in our lives, because everyone is just trying to say that this is just micromanagement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get to the heart and soul of exactly what you do on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids at career day. Let's say third
Okay.
graders. One of the
Yeah.
kids wants to know, hey, what do you do for a living? What's your answer?
Well, my answer is that's a great question. It's, for third grade kids, that would be really hard to explain. But what I do is, if you have a company that is manufacturing a chocolate, I make sure that people who are manufacturing chocolate, each day they're happy because they know exactly what they're doing, and every day we're making better and better chocolate and making sure that it's arriving at the right time
Yeah.
to your school.
Wonderful. What a great way of putting that out there. What did you want to
Yeah.
be in the third grade? What was your dream?
Oh God, there's so many, like each year or each half of the year we do things. So I wanted to be an architect. Yes, I want to be an architect, but that didn't go through because my drawings were horrible. Well, nowadays we're using software, so that would be different, I guess, at that time. Yeah, so I would definitely wanted to be architect. Yeah.
So, take me back to your childhood. Where were you born and raised, and how did this
Yeah.
dream become who you are now? How did you evolve into this professional?
Okay, so I was born in Lithuania, 1986, and I have seen it all, the 90s, all the big transformation, EU. I mean, when I was growing up, I grew in an amazing household. My father, he was entrepreneur. And my mom, she just really took care of my education. So she was always pushing me, you can do everything that you want in your life. And education is the first thing that you should be looking at, and you can get this amazing job. But while, I was really good at school and just doing my homework, I guess in my 20s and 30s, that entrepreneurial spirit from my father just suddenly just ripped everything off and, just stop doing your homework, just look at business. So after that, tragedy with NGOs, everything, I realized that the best ecosystem where I should be looking at to use my skills in terms of the workflows is business, actually. Even though I want to save the world, but business, I think it's a lot of hatred towards like business in terms of industry, even though it provides so many jobs, it provides solutions for our lives. So there's so much good coming out of business if you do it right, and provide for your employees, partners. So I started, building websites. I started building websites, learned all by myself. And one of my clients, he suddenly asked, okay, so people come into my website and they fill that form. What I do next? Like, what happens next? I'm like, okay, that's a good question. Then I started looking at CRMs, customer relationship management platforms, then project development platforms. And in 8 years, I have worked with 280 tools. I know that sounds like crazy,
Yeah.
and they say you should find your niche, you should just focus on one tool or something like that. But I am a big believer that businesses today, they're so complex. They have different sales processes, they have different team dynamics, different visions. You cannot help any business as a workflow automation consultant if you just work with one tool. That's just impossible. So usually my project includes around 7 to 15 tools all integrated into businesses across systems.
So, who's been a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration in your work?
Inspiration in my work has been my father because he is so hardworking. He has been in construction, he has been in so many types of businesses, but he's really hardworking. And every project I take is like, I think about day and night. I literally, in my sleep, I dream about additional solutions that I haven't thought about. They say, that workaholism is not safe, like you should avoid it. But I think world still needs workaholics like me,
Yeah.
to make sure that all the systems are taken care of. And yeah, like of course you have to manage it, you have to keep yourself healthy, but you have this passion. It's just natural, because I'm really passionate about what I do.
So, if you could meet one person alive on the planet, whether it's a business leader or someone fascinating in the world, who would you love to meet and talk to?
There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. I mean, in terms of people, and I'm big fan of LinkedIn, so I connect with so many people who are like, you can call them micro influencers. I hate these concepts, but let's call them micro influencers. They might have like 8,000, 20,000 followers, but they just, they're so open, they're so empathetic. Usually the big leaders that we look up to, they're just not reachable. I believe in people who, when you connect to them, they give you advice. That's what I'm big believer in. Because if I just throw any name of the book of, of Apple founders or something like that. Yes, the big ideas are important, but I feel that what we are missing is supporting each other on a micro level, on tactics. Like if someone, reaches me out and tells me, listen, I have this problem in this operation, this is my business model. What are 3 tools I'm using? I am answering them straight away. I'm not, sending them Calendly link and book me and, just pay me money. I feel that we just need to be supporting each other and just feeling more on the ground level in terms of those influencers. So in terms of influence, it's just I'm reading so much every day that the content itself that you are absorbing allows you, so much flexibility in work. I mean, I really follow a lot of evolutionary psychology. So as I mentioned, the Neuro Leadership Institute. So Dr. David Rock. Yes, that's the one. And his research, really shows how tasks and just uncertainty about our position in company increases the stress level by 50%. So when we're thinking about this high level, how it affects our relationships at work and then what we bring at home, those companies that have really a lot of uncertainty around their processes and workflows, like how many divorces they contribute to. Like, I know it sounds crazy when you think that, but if it increases, like they literally scan the brains of those employees, and that's 50% of additional stress. You bring that to home.
Yep.
Everyone brings that to home. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you enter the home and that's it, honey, I left everything behind. No, no, you bring that to home. And yes, like this is something to think about. Like,
Yeah.
how are you contributing to health of your employees? And then the next day you expect them to be all lively, to bring creative ideas without doing anything.
So at the end of the day, what motivates you every day to do the
Mm.
work that you do? To ultimately do a job that is effective, but to also evolve as a human being. What is that gas in your tank every day for you?
So when I have meetings with my clients, very often they bring employees that are doing the actual work and workflow. Yes. And I do see so much stress and so much sadness in their eyes. Like, you would not believe that. I'm very sensitive person and I just absorb that. I'm looking at them and I see the way the employer communicates to them, and it seems like there's no hope there. Like, I'm stuck in this company, like they're paying me, but it's just so much uncertainty. And after I complete the project, I'm always looking at their eyes. I remember, like, literally, like the color of eyes, and is it sparkling, is it not? And then after the project, I look at them after the training and I see the difference. That just makes my day, I know I'm working for a client, for their employer, but when I see a person, at least one person, happy about their day, the way they're going to do work, that's it.
Yeah.
That's like winning, billion.
Yeah.
Forget million.
Yeah.
Billion is the new million, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. So, of
Yeah.
everything that you've accomplished in your life up to this point, what are you the proudest of?
The proudest. Oh God. I'm not very proud person, to be honest.
Right.
Like a lot of workaholics are not. But in terms of accomplishments, yeah, I mean, the fact that I keep learning, and also that I already worked with 300 companies. That's a big number for me. Having in mind that I have a very small team, I have just one more employee and 2 assistants. So this is really like micro enterprise, really, really small business. And I also always have this log of the conversations that I have with potential clients. So it's 3,000 conversations, 3,000 conversations. And it's such a gold mine when you think about goldmine of emotions, how decisions are being made, the fears, what people psychologically feel about their businesses. It's just so much. I'm so grateful that I'm living in this era where I can just jump on the call with someone and just absorb all of that experience and how they're feeling and listening to how they're making those decisions.
So if you had a dream tonight, ran into the 18-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you impart on that younger version of you?
Uh, don't be afraid to reach more people. Like they, yes, don't be afraid to reach more people earlier, you know.
Yeah.
The biggest fear that I had was, I'm a foreign, I don't have a degree in computer science, and it also came from my family. Like, what are you doing? You have degree in politics and conflict studies. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you doing IT? Yes, just don't doubt yourself. Just don't doubt yourself. Just do it. Just do it.
So
Yes.
everyone out there has a perception of you. There's all these pockets, family, friends, clients.
Yeah.
You run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think
Uh,
again, there's so many layers, Uh sometimes the first thing that I think when I have first conversation with potential client, that I'm a psychologist. Because it all starts, them explaining processes, and then there's a bunch of feelings and cognitive biases and fears about how everything should be run, how everyone will react. There's so much misunderstanding about leadership nowadays. They feel they should be flat structure, or they're just romanticizing it. So they're afraid of making those decisions, and it's scary looking at that. So my first role, like my biggest role every day, is to make sure that person feels in the position that they are the decision architect. That's how I call my clients. Your business is a decision factory, isn't it? Like everything that's done, there are a million of decisions made by your employees, by you in the teams, but how those decisions are made, the decision architect needs to provide that structure, isn't it? And everyone is running from that role. So if you're not a decision architect in your company, how can you call yourself a founder, an owner, an executive? Like, what is really, are you doing what we're talking about? Are you really ready to step in the shoes of a decision architect with me? I can help you with tools. I can help you with SOPs, with standard operating procedures, but you need to feel that you can do that you can step up actually. So a lot of, one of the biggest crises we're living in is leadership crisis.
yeah.
It's just people are afraid of that. They're not afraid to state on LinkedIn, I'm this founder, executive, I am the leader. But are you in your employees' minds and vision? Are you really giving them that certainty, that predictability, what to do tomorrow
Yeah.
in their job? So, yeah.
So that's a great way to segue into if anyone wants to reach out, they want to hire you, learn more about what you're doing, any of the good business,
Yeah.
where should they go?
So LinkedIn, just DM me. Just DM me, connect with me, send connection requests, send message. I always reply. I always reply.
Okay. Wonderful. This
Yeah.
has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for opening up the world of work that you do and the great things you're doing for clients. And best of luck with everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
And before you go, I want to make sure I pronounce your full name correctly. Can you just tell me
Yes.
real quick? Yeah.
Yes. It's Aukse Zilenaite. Aukse, you can call me Goldie because Aukse means gold in Lithuanian. So, yeah.
Okay, excellent. I wanted to make sure. I never want to assume. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Keep doing the
Thank you for
great work.
having me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.